Hey everybody. So we're on a Whirlpool dishwasher. They were complaining that it's leaking, so I'm going to show you guys what this dishwasher looks like, and we'll start tearing it apart and figure out what's going on with it. Okay, so this is the guy here. Very common dishwasher. So what we're going to want to do first is take this kick plate off. There'll be 4 screws holding it on. There'll be one inside of there, one underneath here, and then the same thing on the other side. One there and one under here. So I'll take that off and take a look underneath. Okay, so as soon as I took that kick plate off, I noticed there was water leaking out of this guy like crazy. It wasn't from the connection, it was actually up a little higher. So that's the water valve. And I just turned the water off because I didn't want it leaking anymore on the floor because it's dripping quite a bit. So we will change out that guy. I didn't see any leaks coming from anywhere else, but we put it all back together with the new valve. We'll check out everything and make sure there's no other leaks happening. So usually I put a towel down underneath the valve. I don't have a towel on me right now. Hopefully there's not much water in there because I have to see if I can find something out in the truck. Yeah, because there can sometimes be a lot of water in there. We'll see when we start out doing it though. Okay, so before we start doing anything, we'll want to shut the breaker off for the dishwasher. That way we're not having to deal with the power also being a problem. So these guys, you have to take off this connection here. It's exactly like a garden hose kind of connection. So you just undo it, as you would something like that. It is absolutely soaked under here. So yeah, we didn't get any water, which is good because the leaking has already leaked it all over the floor. So we got a screw. I don't know if you guys can see that, but screw right there holding it to the frame. And when I pull this down, I've already taken off the electrical connector there. So there'll be a hose connected right here with a clamp. So I have to pull that off, and that's all there is really to changing this guy. So I will get that pulled down and we'll take that hose off and put the new one up there. Before I do any of that, I'm just gonna make sure that the part that I have is the right part before we take apart anything. Okay, so the part that I have is the right part. So I undid the screw off the bottom here, so it just got these little I don't know, hooks, I guess, that hook onto the frame. And now we just gotta disconnect this clamp here, and this will be all free. You'll probably have a little bit of water in here. This one's been leaking, so I don't know if there'll be any water left in there, but we'll get that one done. These 90-degree DIAGNOSE pliers are so handy. I use them for just about everything. The hose is usually on there quite tight. It needs to be, a good fitting so it's not going to leak or anything like that. So it's usually on there pretty good. Oh, we got a little bit of water there, not much. All right. So I'll have to grab a rag out of the truck to clean up some of that, but we'll get this new guy in there. When you put this hose on, you want to make sure that the valve is sitting pretty much like it's going to be sitting on the frame before you do this up, because the the hose will bend, and you don't want that because it's going to try to fill. It's not going to be able to fill because it's kinked off, so just maybe watch for that. So this goes back onto the frame. Line up that screw hole right there. And then put the skin back on. While you're under here, you can, for the most part, you'll be able to tell if there's been a leak anywhere else. You'll see the dust and dirt and whatever the heck else is under here moved around or cleared in a certain area. That's how you know it's definitely been leaking somewhere else. Just trace the trace the dirt. Okay, got that screw back in there. I hooked up the electrical. Now we just got to put this hose back on. When you're putting this guy back on, check and make sure there's a little O-ring inside of this guy. You can see that just like on a tap on an outside hose. It's the same sort of seal, and just make sure that it's not really crushed or anything. They're very inexpensive just to buy that seal. So if yours is squished or ripped or whatever, just get a new one in there because it'll save you a lot of headache. When you're screwing this guy on, because it's a plastic water valve, you've got to really watch that you get it on straight. So don't, ram on it before you're sure that this thing is straight, because it felt kind of like it was going on straight, but you can see it's sort of kinked off sideways there. So you definitely want to take your time, get that on straight, or you will strip it out and it will never seal properly. So we'll do that and I'll get back to you guys in a sec here. Okay, what you'll also want to watch is when you are screwing this guy tight, you don't want to over tighten it. It is just screwing onto plastic. So I'd say get it pretty much so it's hand tight, and then maybe give it, another full turn, I guess. After that, you'll feel the washer start to make contact with the valve, and then just go a hair more past that. You can always tighten it a little bit more if you need to. Because of where it is, all you have to do is turn the water on. You don't have to turn the power back on at this point. And if this guy isn't tight enough or not sealing properly, it will start to drip. So let's do that. I'll just turn it on right now. Okay, so let's turn back on. You guys didn't really get to see it, but it was dripping, a drip a second basically is how fast it was coming out of there. So it was quite fast. And I don't see anything yet, so that's good. I always test this part first. I don't want there to be power here if I need to tighten anything or whatever. But so everything looks good. So we'll go turn the power back on, and then we can test this guy. Make sure that nothing else is leaking. Okay, so power's back on. Now this guy, just a normal cycle. Just leave that at normal. All right, so what I like to do is, the water's coming in right away. So I'll let a little bit come in there, and then I'll just open the door so the water valve will shut off. And what I want to do is make sure that nothing is going to be dripping just for having water in it. So make sure it's not doing any of that. So when that water valve is filling, if it's got any leaks, further into the valve than we could test with just the pressure of the water. We'll be seeing it right now. So I don't see any other drips happening. You can get, you know, a crack in the drain hose line or something. If it's already been leaked out, it wouldn't, you wouldn't see it anymore. But now that it's got some water in it, you'd see it coming out. There's also seals in the bottom of the motor that if they're leaking because they're dried out or cracked or whatever, you'll see that too. So I don't see anything. We'll put a little bit more water in there and then we'll let it do its wash thing. Okay, so there's no leaking or anything going on under there, which is good. We ran the wash cycle a little bit, made sure nothing was coming out of the bottom of the motor or anything. Let the drain pump's actually running right now. Sorry, it's a little loud. We can probably cut that off because it's pretty much empty. Just turn that off and close the door again. So what I wanted to show you is this valve. And they always seem to leak kind of in the same spot. So this is a valve here. That's where that hose connects to. So right where this black piece connects to the valve assembly, right in there, there is a seal. You can't see it or anything like that, or you can't replace it, because this is all, you know, pushed into well, together in factory. But so yeah, that's where a lot of the time it will be leaking from. I'd say 95% of the time a valve's gonna leak. That's where it's gonna leak from. So yeah, that's where this guy was leaking from. Everything's all good now. It's all running fine. No more leaks anymore. So we're good. All right, I'll just get this guy buttoned back up and we can get out of here. I'll clean up a little bit of this water that's left on the floor here because I don't like leaving any kind of anything, especially water. Anyway, let me know if you guys like this video. Hit that like button, subscribe button, you know, you've heard that before. But that does help us out. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye.